In a universe full of ideas, we draw lightness from the dark to a place where opposites attract. Right meets left, positive touches negative, sparking an explosion of truth. Because politics makes strange bedfellows.
Tyler Nixon attended Georgetown University and the University of Virginia Law School. Also served in the U.S. Army's Berlin Brigade. Did a tour of combat duty in the First Iraq War back in 1991. Later, he served as staff assistant to former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Also worked on the presidential transition team for President George W. Bush in 2001 and on Republican Ron Paul's presidential campaign in 2008. I, too, am a veteran of that war. And let's bring Tyler Nixon in because I've been looking forward to this for so long, and I think he's finally connected and with us. Can you hear me? Hi.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We got it worked out. That was so strange. Sorry about that. I have no idea what the heck that
I
was.
could hear you. It was very frustrating. I could hear you both and see you both, and yet
But we couldn't see you. But now we can, and I'm so glad you're here.
These miraculous technologies. How dare they shut down on me at the moment of truth, right?
They always do. If it's going to take a crap, I can guarantee you it'll be when we're live on the air. It always does.
It's a privilege to meet you tonight, Tyler.
It's an honor to be on with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I have to say, as a Nixon, I'm a Nixon for Kennedy. This man he seriously. No, I had to live with the name Nixon, obviously. And growing up politically, it was always either one of two questions: any relation,
right?
Or are you going to change your name? I'm like, oh, you're a real hoot, And this is in the Republican Party. So anyway, so I grew up with that, and that's just I felt that Bobby Kennedy, out of all the Kennedys to have the family, he has been the most. I don't want to say pure because that sounds almost too much, but really just he lives up to what his father, his uncle, the tradition they set, the standards they set. He really lives up to that. I mean, this man is erudite beyond belief. I mean, I'm a pretty well-read person. I mean, you can see the books behind me here. I've read thousands. I mean, I've been a bookworm my entire life. I think reading is the key to wisdom and education, to everything. I mean, it's just But that being said, I started studying the Kennedys by way of my mother's scrapbooks and memorabilia she had collected from what I mentioned. She was there at the funeral. She was there, filed past President Kennedy's casket, and she was there in Washington in the early '60s. And I mean, it had to have been amazingly exciting. The only trip she took away from that in early '63 was to Europe, where she was in Vienna for, I think, half a year or so, right in the middle of the Cold War, and experienced all that. But I found her sort of scrapbox of Life magazine, Look magazine. And I just, they had these brilliant, beautiful colored photos of the Kennedy family. And I thought, this is magical. I mean, this is probably 1976 or 77 that I'm talking about when I did this as a child. And I was just amazed. And then unfortunately it ends in this horror. And I just couldn't, even as a little kid, I couldn't get over that. And I just felt like there's something wrong with this. There's something, and I just began more and more reading, and from literally probably 10 years old began, getting books. Well, Best Evidence by David Lifton. I mean, amongst others, as one that was sort of really opened my eyes, but began to delve into that. And I've been doing so in the 40 years since. And Bobby Kennedy running for president, I think if he could attain the presidency, if he wins the presidency, it would be like a sort of a karmic realignment or something. It would be like I don't know, everything, all the hashes would be settled, because he will make right what has been torn asunder by the assassinations of both his uncle and his father. And I think he, as a Republican, obviously named Nixon, of course, and I do believe that Teddy Kennedy. That's like, I mean, look, you can say what you will about the Kennedy.
Oh, we froze up.
Oh no! Damn, he was just getting to the good part.
Yeah.
Come back, Tyler. Come back. Oh no!
But I'm mind of Richard Nixon.
There he is.
You got me?
It's kind of cutting in and out.
Unfortunately, I had to switch to a computer with Wi-Fi because the other one wouldn't. This is the only way I could get through to this. So do you still hear me all right?
So far, there's a bit of a lag, but yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying that, Bobby Kennedy's run, I never thought he would run. I've heard him speak. I'm not. Obviously, we differ on certain. He's got that partisan Democrat. It's in his DNA almost with the Kennedys. I mean, the notion he's going to run as a Republican, I think, is ludicrous. It wouldn't seem right. And I would say, no, don't run as a Republican. Fix the Democrat Party so we have two, or at least one. We have some viable partisan organizations in this country instead of just the uniparty disguised as two different parties. I ran as a libertarian Republican, and I know you're very libertarian involved, Laurie, and it would be very interesting if he were to take that path of trying to, or basically being willing to be nominated by the Libertarian Party because of the ballot access issues.
Exactly.
You wouldn't believe. I mean, Delaware. Let me tell you, it is absurd. I ran for office. I ran for state. First, I ran for the nomination for lieutenant governor in the Republican Party in 2004. I ran for state senator in 2006 against a Democrat, entrenched Democrat who was the son of the Congressman Harris McDowell is the name, son of the former congressman. He was a state senator since 1976. This is 2006. I was running, so he'd been there 30 years. The man put out signs in which he misspelled his own name. I swear to God, his name was Harris McDowell. They left an L off his name on the sign. I'm like, oh God. But unfortunately, in Delaware, we have some very entrenched Democrat party. It was basically a 50% Democrat district, which, as you know, means, I mean, you're really fighting gravity if you're only about 27% Republican. That being said, and then I ran in 2008 as a fusion candidate as the nominee of both the Libertarian and Republican parties. Now, of course, Delaware immediately dispatched with that and eliminated fusion candidates. We had a big row. But the funny thing is that you look at these ballot access laws, for example, in Delaware, it still shocks me to this day. The state constitution says that we shall have free and equal elections, right? One of the statutes in the state says the device and symbol and name of the Democratic Party shall be first listed in the ballot, meaning like they actually name political parties in the statute and give them first ballot position. In the law,
wow.
Yes. I'm like, how do you get equal protection of the laws when your political opponent is named and given the first left, like in other words, the ballots and the way they organize the ballot is based on political party, of course. And so I began rumbling about in Delaware about eliminating political parties or partisan, whatever you have from the process, meaning like we should have no. If you were to say no political parties can be listed on any election ballot, meaning that's fine. You can run on a party, but we're not going to print you're not going to advertise your party on the public's paid for ballot. Everybody's paying.
I think that's how it ought to be.
And the other thing I said was, what it ought to be like. I mean, honestly, I know it's crazy. You have to articulate the name, whether you say it or whether someone writes it for you. You can't just walk in and have some cheat sheet. They used to literally in Delaware have a machine where there was a big lever at the top, and it used to be tick down, the mechanical machine.
Yep, I remember those.
You could pull the one big lever, and that would be all Democrat.
Straight party ticket.
I mean, this straight party ticket. This thing is so rigged for uniparty rule, and considering these laws are in place where the Democratic Party of Delaware has the leftmost ballot position, meaning like when you look at the ballot, it reads left or right, obviously, with the candidates' names. And at the top are the parties. The Democrat Party is the first left column, most left column. I mean, again, how do you laws of that law if you're a libertarian? When I'm somewhere out in, I don't know, Timbuktu as far as where my ballot position is, and that
right
matters.
Yeah.
If it, these are things I think a voter, who they want to vote for, they ought to be able to say the name and know who it is and know the position they're voting for, because this idea we just heard people, it has to be an informed choice. It has to be a conscious choice. It cannot just be lining up bodies, as though there's some sort of like you're collecting poker chips. I mean, this is a sick rendition of politics that is developed, and through these ballot access blockades that we see, like I mentioned in Delaware, let me tell you something. It was very difficult to get Ron Paul on the ballot in Delaware, which I led I was the state director for Delaware.
I remember.
And you'd be surprised what it takes to get signatures. I mean, it is no small feat to go out and get people to sign, to put someone on the ballot.
And you got to get like 3 times as many signatures as you actually need, because they toss out a lot of signatures.
Congressman Mike Castle at the time, and he refused.
Mm-hmm.
The internet's not the best, is it?
I'm sorry.
Well, he's up in the mountains of Colorado. So
this end a little bit.
Lieutenant
Governor. He refused, and I said, Congressman, I said, putting Ron Paul on the ballot, he's one of your fellow congressmen. It doesn't mean that you're endorsing.
And we lost him.
Oh, no. Damn, he always cuts out just when we're getting to the good part.
There he is.
Oh,
he's back.
I think he's frozen though. All right, can you hear us okay? Are you there, Tyler?
Oh boy.
Oh no. Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe he can plug in an Ethernet cable, and I'm going to stall for a few minutes since we were just.
I'm frozen to try to not to like.
Damn. Well, we were just speaking
the
of
Wi-Fi's
Delaware.
being strained. I think Saturday night, unfortunately, it's a lot of. Is Mercury in retrograde by any chance?
Probably. We'll blame it on that. I just blame the CIA when things go wrong. I just blame the CIA. What the hell? Why not?
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.